What's going on, Drama Alert Nation? It's your host, Killer Keemstar. Let's get right into the news. It's Brandon Cruz Daily Fantasy Podcast, where I go and look at loan plays and strategies specifically designed for GPPs. This is a show for people who are already informed on daily fantasy sports and how this contest operates. If you have any questions related to NASCAR that isn't a stupid question, feel free to send them my way at BrandonCruzDFS on Twitter. Most importantly, take everything here with a grain of salt and use your judgment when making entries. Additionally, if you have a gambling addiction, that's not my problem. Check your sense of feelings at the door. Let's get right into this. This is another two for Tuesday, two for Saturday, two for Friday, however you want to look at it. It's a two for... I'm going to be looking over the Xfinity Series race at Homestead and the Truck Series race at Homestead as well on Saturday. I'm going to have another podcast out on Sunday for the Xfinity Series race. I'll probably record that tomorrow following both the races, probably during the UFC fights, because I'll have nothing to do while I'm watching money being thrown away or either one there. So let's get right into it, looking at the Xfinity Series race here. And I've recorded this podcast a couple times today, and I kept getting hung up on trying to take the angle that I want to. So hopefully I'll get it right this time, because I don't want to piss away another 20 minutes. But the main things I want to look at before I even dive into the plays and who I want is to look at the track history and what the spreadsheet warriors or what the mass entry guys are going to be looking at who don't necessarily watch the NASCAR races. Now, I understand golf is back, and that's taking a lot of the players away, but I don't think we're out of the woods yet. I don't think we're out of there yet. For example, if you look at the Xfinity Series contest on DraftKings for tomorrow, $120,000 is still a huge prize pool for this. It's a min cash of 2.0. 21.31% of the field gets paid out. The top position is 16% of the prize pool, with 32 going to the top 10. That's a better payout than normal. It's bigger than most of the time, because usually it's only about a $40,000 during the normal year, other than the coronavirus. And there's 4 races this weekend, so that's more opportunities for a lot of people to enter a lot of money in it. I know they got to deal with golf. I know they got to deal with the UFC stuff and all that type of stuff. But look, I think this is probably the second to last week that we end up getting a huge influx of people. And there's still going to be a lot of advantages to be had here before it just goes down to the real tryhards and everything. Hopefully you know what I'm saying there. Anyway, if you look at track history in sheets, or if you look at it in general, and I'm not saying this to dish the sheet that I'm using, I'm just saying there's not a whole lot of track history to go off of. Speaking of that, use the sheet that I use, and you should be using too. Go to racefortheprize.com to get the Fantasy NASCAR spreadsheet for the month of June. You will find the pricing and everything related to the sheet, related to all the sheets that cover all the races in the month of June. I'd highly advise you to do that. We got race rankings, we got track history, projections, Pierce's opinions, his lineup optimizer, his track history related to practice, related to the races, everything, all the location you need in one place, race notes, everything I use is located here. Check it out. You should be using it. I'm getting that out of the way because I said it poorly in the other ones. I meant this in a way of the track history data is just not there for a lot of these drivers. If you look at these guys, Ryan Sieg is the only guy who's actually ran the last 6 races at Homestead in the Xfinity Series race who actually had a competitive car. JJ Yaley and Jeremy Clements are the other drivers who have actually ran the last 6 races. Everybody else has only ran either 3, 2, 4, or they've ran a few, missed a few here and there. So if you're using the track history just alone as what a lot of these spreadsheets are taking the data from, it's probably going to point you in the direction of Ross Chastain, Brandon Jones, Ryan Sieg, Justin Allgaier, Michael Annett, Jeremy Clements. Those are the guys that I imagine will probably gain or probably garner the most amount of ownership for this slate. And that's something you can look to take advantage of. For example, if you actually watch the races or if you pay attention to what happens in the races, you can look at how these guys have ran this season, how they're performing based on their track history at this track, based on the fact that this track used to be the championship for the year. So normally it's just 4 guys racing against just the 4 guys because nobody wants to race against them. Nobody wants to cause the wreck that takes those guys out of the race. I'm looking at you, Cole Witt, for when you started in second place in like 2016, 2017 and killed the outside lane on the last green-white checkered finish. You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to race the leaders. You don't want to race the championship contenders at this track. And I think the track history can be deceiving here. So if we look at the driver ratings, if we look at the track history, and that's the other thing I was going to focus on before. Looking at the distribution of the Dominator points in the last couple races here. I'm going to look at 2019, 2018 specifically, and 2017 to an extent, but I don't think we're going to go that far in a dominating territory just because we don't have practice and qualifying is determined by a random draw. But if you look at 2019, the distribution of hog points or Dominator points, whatever you call it, the first place guy with the most amount of Dominator points, I'm talking Dominator points, not DK points, not place differential, just pure Dominator points. First place had 42, the second ranked guy had 24, third ranked guy had 17. In 2018, the first ranked guy had 39.75, second place had 27.5, third place had 24, even 17, 85, 22, and 14, although that's more of an outlier in my opinion because I think that was the year that Cole Custer just dominated that race. Let me make sure. Oh, he's not even in here. So yeah, I'm going to focus on a lineup that has 2 quote-unquote dominators, 2 guys who are going to lead the most amount of laps, and then I want to go with a more even build this time around. I don't want to take nearly as many punts as I assume the drivers that I like are not going to carry a whole lot of ownership to begin with. But looking at the race ratings and how these guys have ran so far, my favorite guy that I like to lead a good chunk of the lap will probably be Noah Gregson. The junior motorsports cars have always ran well here. They've had tremendous speed recently. I know last year he finished 4th, but his teammate Tyler Reddick took the championship at this track last year. I imagine they're going to take that same setup and just place it in a Noah Gregson's car. He has ran very well this year. If you look at Atlanta, he was pretty much the fastest car on the track, just got beat there. Bristol obviously won there. Looking at the Darlington race, he was the 3rd best on average. He just ended up finishing 5th. Fontana, a track that I look at a lot here because Atlanta has a lot of grooves. Homestead has a lot of grooves. Didn't run nearly as well at Atlanta, but that was half a year ago at this point. I like Noah Gregson. I like Brandon Jones as well, a guy who has had a lot of experience here, who hasn't necessarily ran well, but I think he can lead a good chunk of the laps. I don't believe in Harrison Burton starting first. I don't believe in Ross Chastain. I know he's been fast. He's been up front this year, but look at his finishes, people. And I understand the same as how he's ran the race, but his finishes at the tracks that matter this year: Atlanta 7th, Charlotte 4th, Darlington 9th, Fontana 8th. Where is he running in these? What was his rating for these races? 3rd at Atlanta, 3rd at Atlanta, 4th at Charlotte, 6th at Darlington, 8th at Fontana. That's good, but he's not winning. He's not. I don't think he's going to lead the laps that we need him to lead. I'm not too big on the Chastain bandwagon. I'd much rather go with Noah Gregson. I think Noah Gregson leads it out of turn 2 on the start. I think he starts on the outside, gets that momentum on that high side, and passes Harrison Burton. Brandon Brown, starting too high up. I don't like him. Riley Herberst at 75. We need him to run like he did at Fontana, where he finished 2nd. Don't think that's going to happen. Ryan Sieg, not interested in him. Chase Briscoe, another guy that I like to possibly lead. I've yet again been more on the Austin Cindric bandwagon. I feel like these guys are the same people. But if you look at how Chase Briscoe drove at Darlington when he won there, when he ran very well at Bristol or Atlanta, he finished 9th there. He ran well throughout the race in the top 10, vast majority of the time. Won Las Vegas. This would be a track I would look at to see Chase Briscoe once again lead. Same thing with Austin Cindric. I don't mind him. Justin Haley, I like him based on how he's been running. Just why is Haley still $6,700? He should be like $8,000 easily. Don't get it. Don't know why. I'm going to play Justin Haley tomorrow. I have no issues there. Justin Allgaier, consistent. This is a situation where I like Justin Allgaier more than I normally do. Starting 11th, he should, quote unquote, should finish top 6. Track history does not point that way. 14, 7, 12, 6. His last 4 races here, and his last races at Atlanta. 6th, 5th at Charlotte, 3rd at Darlington. His race rating during those was 8th at Atlanta, 5th at Charlotte, 4th at Darlington, 11th at Fontana. Not the most beautiful looking stats there, but starting 11th. I like Justin Allgaier a lot more than I like maybe about 8 of these guys. That's why I didn't really talk about Ross Chastain a whole lot. That's why I didn't really harp on or really jump on Brandon Jones a whole lot. I like Justin Allgaier too. And look at the guy starting beside him. Good old Junebug, or Goobug, as I like to call him. I've only had like 3 people ask me why I call him that. If you want to know, PM me, and I will happily tell you why I call Junior Goobug. But look, and thank Christ Stuart isn't running the IndyCar race, because I would have just played Stuart like crazy, because I'm a huge Stuart fan. Junior is loved beyond belief. You need to look at how much people play Dale Jr. when he does these one-off races. He hasn't been in a car in over a year, not over a year, but since Richmond of last year. Are you kidding me? And he's going to go to Homestead? What is he doing? What are you doing, Junior? With no practice? No, there's no way Junior does well. And I don't mean, he'll probably finish 9th to 13th. That's my ceiling. I see him. But I don't see him leading laps. I don't see him getting fast laps. I just don't see it. I'm not on the Junebug bandwagon this week. Not going to play Junior. That's not an ownership play. I just don't like Junior a whole lot here. 11,800 really kills a lot of your lineups. I just don't like that at all. I'd rather go down to Brett Moffatt. I like Brett Moffatt. I don't mind that one bit. Not interested in JJ. Actually, let me look right fast. I don't think. Let me look at that. JJ. Yeah, he's in the number 7. JJ's in a good car. Hold on a minute. He is in the. He's in a Bobby Donner car. Why did I not know this before? Hold on, let me look. Let me look right fast. JJ might actually be at play this week. I gotta look right fast. I'll be starting 4. Ooh. Hold on. I guess I got caught up on, wow, what is it called? RSS Greenlight? Hold on, let me look. Greenlight Racing. What is it called? Greenlight Racing. Oh man, this is an amazing podcast right here. SS Greenlight Racing. Let me see. Graf Jr. I imagine that 07 has to be sponsored for SS Greenlight Racing. And that number 07, because Ray Black is not running for them anymore. God forbid they put anything out there related to the sponsorship of these cars. I have to imagine JJ Yaley is a play. I just want to see a picture of the car. I don't care what the sponsor is on there. I just want to make sure. If that is the case, and it should be, I don't see why, because he's racing for Greenlight Racing, starting 14th. JJ Yaley is a lock. I think he's a lock. Well, I mean, not a lock. Okay, I mean he should finish 20th, 22nd for $5,100. I think you need to play JJ Yaley here. He's not going to start in park. He's starting 14th. A bit hard to look at, a bit hard to swallow, but I like him. I like in that car. He's normally just been starting in parking. It's just like whenever you get Jeff Green in the 93 car, which we'll see at Talladega. You have to play him. I think J.J. Yaley just opens up so much stuff. Let me see what he's looking like here. Yeah, I think he's fine. Even if he gets, let's say, 25 DK points, he's 5x. I mean, well, that would probably be 26 at that point because it's $5,100. That's fine. I'm fine with J.J. Yaley. Don't mind that at all. Don't mind that at all. He's easily one of probably the best value play. Anyway, sorry, I got caught up on that. As you can tell, I had to re-record the DFS video or the tavern video, and it threw me off. Anyway, because of that, I'm not interested in Earnhardt. I have some interest in Jesse Little. I don't mind Jesse Little at all. I like Josh Williams, I like Michael Annett and Josh Williams starting 17th. Just pick your poison there. I would go to Michael Annett. I think you get a better car there. But if you look at Josh Williams, he has had some good finishes this year. Finished bad at Atlanta, got loose, got spun out there. But this is almost the same car, the same results. Let me tell you this. If I gave you these results, 13th, 10, 16th, 16th, 14th, 9th, who do you think those would go to between Michael Annett and Josh Williams? And if I told you 7th, 17th, 17th, 25th, 7th, 37th, 11th in those same races, where do you think that goes to? Well, Josh Williams has been much more consistent with the 13th, 10th, 16th, 16th, 14th, and 9th. I know it's a junior motorsports car, but between these guys, Michael Annett has a ceiling of probably 10th place, 9th place, where Josh Williams I would put him at 12th to 13th. On a good day, on the best day, at that point, they're the same driver. Might as well just take the ownership play there and go to Josh Williams. Chad Fitchup, just because I'm going to be stupid enough to play J.J. Yaley, I don't think I need to go to Fitchup there. Same with Vinnie Miller. Anthony Alfredo, I mean, lock him in. Go ahead and play him. I don't need to say anything there. Jeremy Clements, $91,000 for a guy starting 23rd. Not interested there. Caesar, not interested there. Bailey Curry, not interested there because I'm going to go to my man, Matty Snyder. Don't got anything to say here if you've been listening there. You know I'm going to play Matt Snyder. Stephen Parsons. Now, this is the first time that we've actually been able to play Stephen in a while because normally he's a late entry on the Xfinity Series list or something stupid like that, and they don't add him to the DK lineup in time. I think the past two races he's been in, I haven't been able to play him because he hasn't been on there. And because of that, I'm perfectly fine playing Parsons this weekend. He has, I don't think he's ran this year. Let me look right fast. He's not ran this year, hasn't ran at Homestead, but he knows how to take care of the car. He knows how to take care of the car. If you look at his finishes last year, finished 13th at the Summer Daytona race, finished 21st at Iowa, or 21st at Iowa, 23rd at Darlington, 19th at Indy, 19th at Dover, and Texas in the fall, 23rd, starting 27th at $7,000. Not too bad. I like him a lot as well. And I don't think people are going to play him. I think people are going to be like, oh, he's too expensive. Oh, he doesn't have practice or anything. He doesn't tear equipment up. Stefan can easily finish top 20. If he can give me a 17th place finish, I'm fine with that. I know it's a BJ Motorsports car, but I think he'll drive just fine. I don't see him really underperforming. I don't think he finishes worse than where he starts. Timmy Hill, gotta head down and check and see if he's racing for good old Hattori. And he is racing for Hattori, and he's racing with the Roof Claim sponsors. Now, this is interesting. Timmy Hill has been, DFS's dirty little mistress in this damn Hattori car. But wow, we have had a rough year so far. I don't know what they're doing with this car. I can't tell if they're having bad luck, if they're bringing bad equipment here, but this Hattori 61 car with Timmy Hill in it, should be a top 15 car at 1.5 miles, and he should have been a top 10 car at Bristol. Maybe I have too much expectations towards this man, but this has been an underperforming entry for Hattori, just compared to what everybody was saying and what these DFS, I'm on the same bandwagon of play the Hattori car whenever it's in there, but it's not been working out. And I hate getting to the point where I'm like, you know what, I'm going to jump off him just because he hasn't been performing in this car. But they've had mechanical issues. They've blown a motor. They blew a motor at Charlotte. This is bad. I mean, you can't afford to pick Timmy Hill as a guy that you think is going to finish like top 15, top 16, and have him routinely have motor issues, routinely have equipment failures. Because of that, I'm still going to be on the Timmy Hill bandwagon in the Hattori car, but his ownership, I think it's been at like 25, 28, somewhere around there. That's just too much for me with the risk that it involves. I don't know. I imagine it's just been bad luck for the Hattori car, but it has just been underperforming this year. $5,600, we can still take a shot at it, but it just hasn't been fun. It just hasn't been good, man. It just hasn't been good. Cody Vanderwall, or Kyle Weatherman. Good Lord. Kyle Weatherman. Not interested in it. Just not interested. Cody Vanderwall will be a moving chicane. Should wreck at least twice in this race. Not too worried about that. Colby Howard, I like him. $5,800. I'd rather play him over Timmy Hill. I understand they don't have the upside, and I don't really want to play him more over Timmy Hill. Cody isn't going to wreck the car. That's all I got to say. His 15th place finish at Atlanta is what I've been looking for this year. He was routinely around 17th in that race. Starting 31st should be all right. Joe Graf Jr., I'd much rather go to his teammate, JJ Yaley. If he's sponsored, I just got to see a damn picture, JJ. Why does nobody post pictures of these cars? I don't get it. I'll look at it after this. Stephen Leach, not interested. Tommy Joe Martins, $8,100. Another situation of a guy who should have been performing well and who has had bad breaks, but he's just been underperforming this year. It's the same thing you pick with Timmy Hill. He's like, oh, he's going to finish, top 18. And then he gets wrecked, or they blow a motor, or something happens on pit road, or they got a battery going dead, or something stupid like this, and it just ruins everything. So $8,100 is just a bit too steep. I'd rather spend that on Michael Annett or somebody starting higher up. Matt Mills, not interested. Alex LeBay, still too expensive. I don't get these pricings at all. And then Colin Garrett, the guy himself, the madman himself, the man who just absolutely screwed people at Darlington. I mean, wow. I was 100% on Colin Garrett at Darlington. I will most likely be 100% on this poor man again. Are they asking him if he's racing again? I gotta check and see. Are they asking if he's starting and parking again? Because remember last time people were asking Colin Garrett if he was going to start and park. that's so funny. But yet again, this car should be a top 20 car, a top 25 car. But as we saw at Darlington, anything can happen. Started dead last in Darlington. He's starting dead last here. Yeah, it can't get any worse. It cannot get any worse than freaking Darlington. I fully endorse playing Colin Garrett. Again, I will hop on that bandwagon again, and we'll see how it goes here. So now I got that out of the way. Let me tell you the guys I like. I'll tell you live construction, then we'll move on to the Truck Series race. So people that I like in general right now, I'm probably going to play more people, don't worry, but this is just my main quote-unquote player pool. Noah Gregson, Ross Chastain. I know I said I didn't like him, but I've talked myself into him. So Noah Gregson, Ross Chastain, Chase Briscoe, Austin Cindric, Justin Haley, Allgaier, Brett Moffatt, JJ Yaley, Michael Annett, Josh Williams, Anthony Alfredo, Myatt Snyder, Stephen Parsons, Timmy Hill, and Colin Garrett. Those would probably be the guys I'm going to use as my core, sprinkle around, things of that nature. I think the way you got to go with it is pick 2 fast guys. If you use, let me check and see this right fast. Say if I want to, I just want to see what this looks like. If you're crazy enough to do what I think I need to do here. So if you play JJ Yaley starting 14th and put him with Garrett or even Timmy Hill, you're going to have like $9,000 easily left over to make your lineup. And that's probably the direction I'm going to go in. And then just put in whoever you think is going to dominate or whoever you think is fastest from that. Now, moving on to the Truck Series. Yet again, racefortheprize.com to get the fancy NASCAR spreadsheet that I use, and you should be using too. It's what I use to get all my data from. It's what I use to make my lineups, make my final decisions. This is what I use to put my money on these drivers. So I trust it. You should trust it too. It's worked for me this well. Go check it out. It's racefortheprize.com to get the sheet. And let's get right into the Truck Series race here. So Austin Hill's going to be starting first. There's another race with Kyle Busch in it. $15,000. Oh, lordy. Lordy, Lord. Interesting. I haven't messed around with a whole lot of lineups, but Kyle Busch at 15,000 might not be optimal. Let me look here. Well, no, I'm not even gonna make that stupid argument because I was like, wow, 15,000 is a lot. Has he been that high? Well, he was 15,000 in February. He was 15,000 in North Carolina Education Lottery 200. And so do whatever you think is gonna happen with Kyle Busch. I'm gonna talk about this without Kyle Busch because if he leads the race, which he's starting second, he has a good chance to lead. If he leads, hell with it. Kyle Busch is gonna be optimal. What the hell am I even talking about? Kyle Busch is the favorite to win the most amount, to lead the most amount of laps, be out in front. Let's get off that argument and look at all the other guys. So, looking at Austin Hill, looking at Grant Enfinger, looking at Christian Eckes. Yet again, this is the same thing for the Truck Series, as I said, for the Xfinity Series. A lot of track data is not going to be found here. The recent races here aren't going to be here just because a lot of these guys don't run. Homestead lines guys don't run the full season, and actually 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually 1, 2, 3. Only 3 guys have ran the last 6 races here, and only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Or only 9 guys that have only ran the last 4 races here, with missing some here and there. So, track history, track experience, not plentiful here. As never mind. The people that do have track history that I think you should look at is Austin Hill. Again, he won last year. It's a shame he's starting on the pole. But I imagine spreadsheets are going to look at him. Spreadsheets are going to look at Brett Moffatt. Spreadsheets are going to look at Johnny Sauter. Spreadsheets are going to point you towards Matt Crafton and Stuart Friesen. Yet again, these are the guys who are competing for championships these last couple of years, so just keep that in mind. I'm going to use the same strategy that I brought into the Xfinity Series race, and that is looking at recent form, looking at how these guys have ran this year, ran at these types of tracks, ran a track similar to this, and that's how I'm going to focus on the guys that I want. Let me get a drink of water because I've just been yapping for the last 2 hours. I like Austin Hill, but I like Kyle Busch more. Grant Enfinger is a bit too cheap, in my opinion. He shouldn't lead a whole lot of laps, but he should be good for 39, 40, 41, 42 DK points. Don't mind that at all, because I think he'll get a fast lap here or there. I'll give him 3 or 2 fast laps. That'll bump him up. Christian Eckes, I'd rather go with Grant Enfinger. Ben Rhodes, I like. Zane Smith, starting where he should be. Derek Crofts ran well at Charlotte, which is what I thought he would do. $5,800. I think you need to really think about playing Derek in your lineups. He should easily finish where he starts, or at least in top 10. That's not going to kill you there. Sheldon Creed, Brett Moffatt, and Johnny Sauter all starting up in the front. This is where it gets rough, man. It's just all these good plays starting near the front at $7,900. It's almost like DraftKings understands that you're going to play Kyle Busch and then just smacks everybody who I think you should play at like $7,800. Brett Moffatt, 5th last year, won the year before that. If you look at his races so far, 5th at Charlotte, Atlanta 8th in the race ratings, and then finished 4th in Charlotte race, finished 8th at Atlanta. That's good too, but he's starting 8th. This is a tough one. I think for the price, you should go Ben Rhodes and Zane Smith over Brett Moffatt and over Johnny Sauter. If I had to choose between one of these guys, it'd probably be Brett Moffatt. Tyler Ankrum, bit overpriced, not interested. Kobe Robo, not interested. Matt Crafton, starting 13th. This is where I'd probably focus my second or third pick too. Ran here a lot. He's ran here pretty much every year for the past like 8 years or something like that. Looking at the last 3 races, Las Vegas finished 4th. Charlotte, bad issue there, finished 35th, but that's fine. He rebounded to a 12th place finish at Atlanta. I'm perfectly fine with that. Matt Crafton should be a guy you should look at. Rafael Lessard, bump up in price at $8,800. Right? He went up in price. I think he did. Yeah, he was $8,100 last race, $77. So they're bumping him up to where he should be, starting 14th. I think that's fine. Chastain and Elliot starting 15th and 16th. Yes, they can go up there. Yes, they can lead. Chase Elliott should be the guy who should lead laps between these two. I just don't like it. I don't like it based on I think Kyle Busch is going to lead the laps that Elliott needs to run. He ran very well at Atlanta, and Charlotte had the best car at Charlotte, had a top 5 car at Atlanta. The Cup guys just decided to throw it away for whatever reason at the end of the Atlanta race. We'll come back and talk about them when I come back up. But I would rather go Elliott than over Chastain, but I'd rather go Kyle Busch over Elliott. So that's how I break that down there. TJ Belt, not interested. Todd Gillen, I like him. Got in a wreck at Charlotte, but has ran 7th and 4th at Las Vegas, or at least that's where they finished, 6 on average at Las Vegas, 7th on the race rating at Atlanta. I'm fine with that. Stuart Freeze starting 19th, a guy who really hasn't had a whole lot of love this year. The ownership's been there. He just hasn't really been on a lot of people's radar. He might be a guy I might focus on over a Chase Elliott, over a Ross Chastain, because I think these guys, I understand he probably won't win the race, but I think they're more on the same playing field, less ownership, cheaper, should be good to go. Tanner Gray, $5,500, just play him. Don't gotta say anything else there. He's a good play. Ty Majeski, good play, just play him. Good thing there. Greg Aldi, not interested. Corbin Foster, not interested. Corey Roper, probably going to hit the wall. I guarantee you he will get into the fence at some point. Jordan Anderson, a guy who has had, yet again, just purely bad luck, starting 25th, $6,700. Let's look at his past prices. Let me look. Anderson has been 63rd, 72nd, 73rd, 73. I like Anderson in this situation. People are going to be scared of his track history. People are going to be scared of his track history last year in general and his recent history. I think this is about its back spot for Jordan Anderson. I'm fine with that. I think a lot of people are going to be on Brandon Poole, the guy right under him. And I think Anderson should be the better play. These guys should be even. They both have top 15 cars. That's fine. Tyler Hill, Timmy Hill's brother, should be in the 56 round. Let me just make sure. 56. Yeah, Tyler Hill driving for Timmy Hill, $5,400. That's oh, I just whacked my camera. That should be around where he finishes. Should on a good day finish 23rd. On a bad day finish 27th. His worst finish last year was 27th at Iowa. He also ran Dover last year, a very fast track, and Homestead last year where he finished 23rd. I don't mind Tyler Hill at all. Not a bad play. Spencer Boyd, I'd rather play Tyler Hill. I just, where I want to go. I've been playing Spencer Boyd these last couple weeks, and it just has been disappointment after disappointment, so not interested there. Fogelman, not... Fogelman has top 15 upside, but I just don't want to deal with it. Even in GPPs, I'd rather just build the different lineups and risk it all on Fogelman. Angela Brech, however you want to look at it, not interested. 30th at a wide track. Hell, she spun out at Las Vegas getting up to do her freaking Q lap. Don't want to go on Angela. Austin Wayne Self, $1,600, starting 31st. This should be a guy who carries a lot of ownership, and for good reason. Has a top 20 car. That's about all I have to say here. Spencer Davis as well as Spencer Boyd. The two Spencers are just traps for me, and not the never mind. I don't like either of the Spencers here. Clay Greenfield, Jesus Jeff Hammond has just not been carrying this team like I thought he would. He is. I do call him Jesus Jeff Hammond for a reason, and Jesus Jeff Hammond has just not been carrying this Jesus mobile. It's been disappointment after disappointment. Clay Greenfield should finish 24th, 25th, and at $7,200. That is just not doable. Jennifer Jo Cobb, just not doable. I don't think so. I don't think he can do it. Who's starting? What? Wait a minute. Where did it go? Hold on. Who's starting 35th? 35th is Matt Mills. I don't think he's even on DK. Let me look. Matt Mills is not even on DK, so we can just skip past him. Norm Benning, the guy... Norm has been trying to make these stupid races all year, and with, all the idiots showing up and taking Norm out of the equation, I would imagine Norm... Because this is the only race he's ran this year. I don't think he's... Did he run Daytona this year? I don't remember. I don't think he qualified for Daytona, so Norm should have... a good car, and not a good car, but I mean, he should have equipment that isn't disgusting. Well, if I go to his... I don't see Norm not running the whole race. I just don't see it. It's the first time he's ran this year. He wants to run. Normally, when you're starting a park and you're like, okay, I won't run this race here. I can do it. This man hasn't ran a race in like half a year. You're telling me he's going to start in park? This dude's old. He's got grandkids. He just wants to have fun. He just wants to get out of the household for a bit. Norm, I'm fine playing Norm. Dawson Cram. I know nothing about this man. No, nothing. I know he ran. Oh yeah. Yes. I tweeted about him. Or no, I didn't. I meant, okay, so Dawson DK Cram will pilot the 55 machine. I guess his nickname is DK. Do you remember when DK Metcalf hopped up on the scene and Pat Mayo was like, oh, you got to play DK Metcalf. I mean, it's DK Metcalf, you just got to play him, I don't know. I don't believe in the long motorsports machine, or this white car with like 4 stickers on there. I don't trust it. But if you believe in the whole DK stuff where you got to play anybody with DK in it, you can do that. He will certainly not be on my radar a little bit. Brian Berryhill, same thing, not really grabbing my attention a whole lot. I was looking at his history, looking at how he's ran. I just don't see it. He's in a Resume Brothers car, or a Rayum Brothers car, but well, $5,300 for a Resume Brothers car. Rayum Brothers car. I think you have to, I'm not interested in him as a driver, but the situation that he's in, the car that he's in, draws me to him. He has 2 starts last year, Finished 27th at Pocono. That's the only track that I would really consider being important to him. I think you need Bryant. So, looking at this here, who do I think you need? Who are the guys I'm interested in? Here's the quote-unquote player pool. Austin Hill, Kyle Busch, Enfinger, Rhodes, Smith, Crofts, Creed, Moffatt, Matt Crafton, Chase Elliott, Todd Gilliland, Stuart Freeze, Tanner Gray, Ty Majeski, Jordan Anderson, Poole, Hill, Norm Benning, and Bryant Berryhill. That's where I would go. If you fill the hole, you got to play people with anything related to DK. Go ahead and throw in Dawson Cram in there. But I think that's it. And then the same things apply as I did in the Xfinity series. I'm going to just try and get the people who lead the laps, looking at the distribution of the Dominator points here. Oops. All right, let me look at the track. First place usually has 35.5, or that was 19, and 18 had 29.25, 2017 had 30.75, Homestead has 48.5, Homestead 15, 43.75, and Homestead 53.5. It's typically been one Dominator, and then two. I mean, there's just not a lot of points to go around the Truck Series to begin with, so I think you need to just yet again tag the two guys you think. Build a balanced lineup. I think the approach that I'm going to go will probably be squeeze in a lot of, let me get them back over here. Probably squeeze in a lot of Bryant, a lot of Austin Wayne Self, a lot of Tyler Hill, Jordan Anderson, using those guys as my punts or whatnot. And then just really attacking the 13th to 5th starting positions, just because I think those guys should finish where they start, or at least gains a few positions. I think that's how you got to go about it. I think just Kyle Busch and then paying down for someone and doing an even lineup from there on out. I mean, Tanner Gray at $5,500 is criminal yet again. Berryhill at 53. You should be able to do whatever you want at that point. And I think that's where I'm going to end it. If you got any questions, message me or tweet at me on Twitter at BrandonCruzDFS. I also have a Patreon. I've had it up for a while. I just kind of don't really mention it, but some people have been wanting to donate and stuff. So please use the Patreon to facilitate the donations. That's just why I made it. I don't offer anything. I offer a Discord in there that I just chill in. It's not the DFS Tavern Discord. It's just the Discord that I use for my own personal being. If you got any questions for me, any personal questions, anything to do with fantasy stuff, that's about it. But thank you guys for listening. We got this over in about 45 minutes, so covered 2 races there. Hopefully it helps you out. Hopefully it gives you a new perspective on these guys here. And we will chat next time. Check you out in about 24 hours when I record the next podcast for the Xfinity series. So thank you guys for listening. Peace out.